So thank you for the opportunity to share with you the talk on medical education at the UP College of Medicine and the Philippine General Hospital during the COVID pandemic. Although I had actually planned to talk about the surgery for vertigo for this year's ATR Professorial Chair lecture. The relevance of this topic for all of us, I think, is more important. So I elected to present this. And parts of this lecture were actually given during the last Association of Academic Health Centers International Southeast Asia talk a few months ago. And I felt that at the last part of this lecture is to inform the audience that the College of Medicine is actually celebrating its 115th anniversary this year. And I'd like to, as part of this lecture, give you an overview of our past and later on give you a glimpse of what we want our future to be. So you all know that our main mission in the College of Medicine is leadership, excellence in community-oriented medical education that's directed to the underserved. We are very much into making sure that the graduates of the College of Medicine are able to really go to the community, especially in the country, knowing that there's still a big gap in healthcare delivery in our country. And there are so many needs, especially during this time of pandemic, it became even more dramatic. If you look at the milestones of the UP College of Medicine, when it was actually founded in 1905 December, it was precisely established because they needed doctors to look after the Filipino people. Within 3 years, it opened in the present site, along with the same year, the opening of PGH. PGH being the clinical laboratory of the UP College of Medicine. We had our first Filipino dean in 1916, that's Fernando Calderon, who also served as PGH director, as well as dean at that time. And we got our name, UP College of Medicine, only in 1923. So the present status of the college is that we have around 759 faculty members, 280 with regular faculty items, while 479 are clinical faculty without any salary or plantilla items, but receive honorarium for the hours or the time that they spend with the residents and the fellows and the students. They also teach the residents and fellows. There are about 357 of them in PGH. And pre-COVID, we used to see around 600,000 patients in the outpatient and about 1,500 inpatients for a 1,500 bed hospital. We currently have around 956 students, which include the 80 MD PhD students, 180 interns. Having founded in 1905, with all the faculty complement and student complement, we have around 3 programs, academic programs. You know, the 7-year intermed program, we have the 8th year's MD PhD program, and we of course have the 5 years post-baccalaureate program. We instituted the organ system integration curriculum way back in 2003. There are about 335 graduate students now in around 26 graduate programs that are being handled under the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine. And this includes a novel program of PhD by research offered mostly to our faculty members. While the PGH has now a new moniker, People Giving Hope, especially during the COVID when it was declared as a COVID referral center. Although it was founded in 1907 and opened in 1910, it's now home to around 575 residents and 311 fellows. And so it's the largest training hospital and national university hospital in the country. But there's always been a dichotomy of the UP College of Medicine and PGH. In fact, there have been several times in the past when the director and the dean wouldn't work together as harmoniously as we are able to do now. It's been mentioned that the UPCM and PGH are like Siamese twins, joined at the hip and only at the back because they face away from each other in terms of their vision. PGH having the primary mission of giving service to the patients, while UPCM serves as an ivory tower for the academe with education and research as its main activities. However, the hospital has always been a very potent lightning rod for politicians. It has been given a lot of support in the past years, while UPCM had to languish in some very problematic times in its history with very little support from government. When COVID-19 came, and now we have around 8,000, more or less more than 8,000 deaths in the Philippines and almost 500,000 being infected. COVID-19 at PGH actually rose to more than 200 cases at one single time at its peak, sometime in July. But now we are really seeing lower numbers. I think currently admitted yesterday was around 96 patients. We have been able to really do dramatic testing for our healthcare workers, more than 10,000 testing done, and around more than 600 healthcare workers have been tested positive. But there's been no real transmission between healthcare workers nor nurses with doctors or vice versa. And if you recall, this is not the first crisis that we had to go through together. During World War II, UPC and PGH was the only institution that was open within the university system. So that our dean at that time, A.G. Season, was not only the dean and not only the director of PGH, but also served briefly as the president of the University of the Philippines when the president Bienvenido Gonzalez had to be exiled. While PGH was really a general hospital serving very many patients with different subspecialties, it had to convert to a COVID referral center. It had to make sure that it was able to establish systems that will allow it to serve these COVID patients very well. And people had to work together. Residents of different specialties had to rotate in the COVID wards to be able to serve the patients, because only 1/3 remained in the hospital. And that was because we had to institute infection control protocols. And PGH healthcare workers had to be billeted in hotels nearby. There were bikes, there were shuttle services so that our workers can be protected. And we had to make sure that they were adequately fed. A lot of people donated food. We made sure at the UP College of Medicine that we supported PGH very crucially at that time. What about UPCM? Well, actually, no classes were declared on 12 March, and that was a problem. I remember that Director Regaspi called me, tell me about this, and I told him very clearly. I said, Gap, I know that interns might be really needed, but we just have to trust the way we train them. And that meant that we had to just wait. And true enough, within 24 hours, around more than 130 interns actually decided to stay on and volunteer to serve at PGH despite the IATF or Interagency Task Force mandate that actually, as well as the APMC guideline that actually exempted them from rotating the hospital. Our medical education at that time of the AUNQA accreditation 2018 had only 8% blended learning. And when this came, we had to suddenly shift to 100% remote learning. And there was, of course, understanding as to the plight of the students. We had to defer the grading until May 2021 for those students who had difficulty. The courses were designed almost like over the weekend, and our faculty have to be credited with their adaptability. They were able to respond well, and they've been very cooperative and were able to deliver the courses remotely 100%. So we are still at that point where classes are still not face to face, but we have been able to get the interns back as of November 26. More than 200 of them have already come back, including the postgraduate interns. And we're the only university hospital or hospital that had been allowed by IATF to have the interns come back. And that's because of the safety protocols that have been in place, thanks to the HICU headed by Dr. Nina Berba, as well as her team, as well as, of course, PGH Director Gapri Gaspi, who did all the presentations to CHED, to IATF, to the technical working groups in order for this to happen. But we're most proud of the fact that at no single time in the history of UPCM had we seen our students and our faculty working together to be able to look at solutions and scientific solutions to this COVID pandemic. And the CBOL, which is the Surgical Innovation and Biotechnology Laboratory, that was actually approved for funding as of December of 2019, and we're supposed to get their funding in March, had to overnight transform to the UPCBOL. And you saw Sanipods, you saw PAPRs, you saw RxBox telemetry. These are all the products of the civil COVID task force headed by Dr. Wang. And this happened almost like over that weekend of March 20, and they continue to work today. And these have been RxBox have been actually used also in the maternity OB and gynecology maternity wards. And our UPCM virtual campuses have been launched since June 2020. This is a project that has been launched since April of 2019. And we now have a virtual campus. Everything is seamless. We have the university information system. It's a single access portal for all students. We have the journal there, our Zoom, our Google Suite, our online clearance for interns. We have archive for memos, faculty directory. We even have the Inspire magazine and the e-library resources. And when you look at the Lighthouse audit of the website, we actually has a better website than Harvard. And the CBOL, we have been able to connect to Argao. So you can see here the 360 million worth of funding for researches. And of the 298 studies, I can say that more than 220 more or less are from UPCM and PGH. And of the 360 million, 300 million were for UPCM faculty-driven researches, while about 20 million for PGH researches. And we're so proud that we are in the midst of being able to find a lot of solutions and being able to address the issue of COVID. And remote learning has been in place. We've been lucky to have donations for the virtual tables, for digital tables for dissection in anatomy. Thanks to the PHI group for donating this, and visualizers as well. And the remote learning has been assessed by our faculty to be good to very good in 95%. And our students have also been giving us positive feedback. The only problem at that time in October was the time to task. Masyadong excited po mga faculty to give a lot of tasks to our students to make them really learn, and that had to be mitigated as well. We had a lot of donations thanks to alumni who had helped us with the laptop drive. But when after COVID, there were 2 typhoons. We found out that we had about at least 64 of our students who really were direly in need, and we launched the Pantawid program, and we've been able to raise more than 2 million pesos already now, and about 800,000 to go in order to meet the needs of our students. This is like a bridging fund so that it will help them finish their first semester studies. And we hope that some of you might still want to help us in this regard. We've given PCR machines, freezers to PGH, 20,000 donated kits and PPEs. We're looking forward to the full construction of the medical sciences building by the first quarter of 2022. And in there, we will find the CBOL's floor in the 6th floor, aside from the 2 auditoriums. And we'll probably have also the Interprofessional Education Clinical Simulation Center of UP Manila there. And we're proud that we've been able to graduate our medical students, the Hiraya group, legendary batch of 2020 last July. And this is really a big leap from the 8 or so students that were graduated from as the first batch of the UP College of Medicine. And we're so proud that in the last PLE, we even we had 8 top-notchers in the board. And our very own top-notcher, Dr. Jomel Lapidis, is really an epitome of a medical student who actually worked hard, graduated from nursing, worked as a student in SOJR as a nurse while doing his medical studies, and well supported by his fraternity brads. And of course, one might wonder how we can do this. I think as there's been never a strong history of partnership between PGH and UPCM than now. And that's because the director, Gapi Gaswi, is my best friend. We've been working together since 1994 as a skull-based team, working on patients. And really at that time when we were doing surgeries, we were young doctors at that time, we always dreamed of UP PGH to be really the place to go for everyone, and that will be able to answer all the health needs and be able to help our country move forward in terms of healthcare. So the future looks bright, and the new normal will definitely come with enhanced blood learning, with the BLIS and EduTechnology Hub. We have stronger partnerships with government agencies. CBOL will stand to gain around 190 million, Phil Diamond Research Program, 138 million, and the MORPH Program, 66 million from PCHRD and the OST. We are looking forward to Congress approving sana the Clinical Simulation Center of about 300 million pesos. We're determined to produce more MD PhD graduates and clinical scientists, and we're now working on dual degrees of MD Masters in Clinical Epi and MD Masters of Public Health programs, as well as crediting some courses in the residence and fellowship for master's degree. But we have to believe that primary care approach, universal healthcare, will have to be included in our curriculum and be emphasized in the medical curriculum. I now would like to spend the next, hopefully, next 18 minutes with a video, if I may be given the chance to share this. I'd like to pause share and then shift to the video. at 15 taon na po mula nang itatag ang ating mahal na kolehiyo ng medisina. Samahan niyo po ako sa pasasalamat sa lahat ng biyayang naibigay sa ating kolehiyo at sa mahigit 10,000 doktor ng bayan na nakapagtapos na rito. Tayo ay magbalik tanaw sa mayamang kasaysayan, sa ibayang pagsisikap upang matamo ng bawat Pilipino ang karapatang pangkalusugan, bagamat puno ng hamon at masalimuot man ito. Sa pandemya ngayong ating hinaharap at pinagdadaanan, ay nakuha pa rin nating mga guro at estudyante na magtulungan upang hindi mahinto ang edukasyong medikal. Naunawaan marahal natin ang kahalagahan nito sa laki ng buwis ng bayan na ginagastos sa bawat isang doktor mula sa UP College of Medicine. Kalaki pang inaasahang bawat sa isa ay mag-aangat ng antas ng paggagamot sa milyon-milyong Pilipinong nangangailangan nito. Para sa universidad, para sa bayan, mangako tayong ibibigay ang lahat ng ating makakaya upang maitaguyod ang mataas na layunin at adhikain ito. Maraming salamat sa tulong ng Pambansang Pagamutan or PGH sa pangunguna ni Dr. Gap Legazpi. Maraming salamat sa UPCM Class 1995 sa pagpupugay dulot ng napakagandang orchid or Iridis UPCMA mula sa Bukidnon. Salamat sa lahat ng ating mga kapwa-alumni at kaibigan na patuloy na tumutulong sa mga nangangailangang scholar natin sa kolehiyo. Sa tulong na maitayo ang bagong Medical Sciences Building, sa namamayagpag na UPCM Sibol, sa proyektong transformasyong digital, at na makakatulong ng malaki sa pagbubukas ng bagong kabanata sa istorya ng ating pinakamamahal na kolehiyo, na siya naghubog sa atin upang marating natin bawat isa ang ating kinatatayuan ngayon. Mabuhay!
Celebrating the 115th foundation anniversary of the University of the Philippines College of Medicine is a very commendable response to the crisis we are in right now. To recall our history, our college has already survived a global crisis in the 20th century, World War II, with continued service, sustained courage, and even heroism. Different as this crisis may be, with so much uncertainty and continually evolving, what response is expected of us?
We are celebrating this special occasion during a most challenging time in our history because of the COVID pandemic. Challenges are not new to us, and we are sure that the UP College of Medicine will exist and shall continue to fulfill its vision and mission for many more years, for ages to come.
This year, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the college has been proving its mettle in many ways. When its students, faculty, and staff continue to care for infected patients at the risk of their health and even of their lives. When they actively participate in social, epidemiological, and clinical research to help clarify the nature of and to discover therapies against infection. And when they demonstrate authentic leadership in various committees and agencies to frame and develop policies and programs to help prevent COVID infection and its transmission.
The curriculum is the heart and soul of the academic program of the college. I envision a student-centered education that is always responsive to the needs, expectations, concerns, interests, and desires of the students. I envision the continuous development of the curriculum and instruction characterized by being integrated, problem-oriented, with independent and blended learning, social accountability, community orientation, team approach, and synchronized with the current national healthcare system, which is universal healthcare and primary care. I envision the continuing development of a quality assurance mechanisms for the academic program, which are standards-driven and which include benchmarking and external accreditation by national, regional, and international bodies. I envision the continuous development of pioneering, creative, relevant graduate education courses that will assist the faculty of all medical schools in the country.
Let us confidently march forward together with our guiding compass, the spirit of service. To our faculty, the bigger challenge of the college is to motivate our leader-grade faculty members to aspire for academic positions. As a faculty member, one takes part in the noble task of honing possibly an entire generation of future UP-bred Filipino physicians. This is undeniably an excellent way of rendering service to the nation that would make the college an even better vehicle for the professional and ethical formation of present and future generations of doctors. It becomes clear that one has entered an even higher plane of service. You are the solid rock behind the college. To the administration, how then does the UP College of Medicine distinguish itself in the sea of academic excellence? We have always been known to be a fiercely adaptable and resilient lab. We need to put our heads together and think strategically. Conjuring up a dream destination is the easy part. Mapping out precisely how to get there in objective and realistic terms is the far bigger challenge. This brings to fore the college role in research. I give my unconditional respect to all those doing research. You made us proud. It is time to distinguish ourselves by engaging in collaborative work with other institutions outside of UP. We can be the academic hub in this broad agenda of delivering quality healthcare and patient safety. Unfortunately, in my mind, performance evaluation for promotion in academia is biased towards research indicators, while teaching and primary care, both critical to the development of solid clinical skills, are marginalized and all too often at the bottom of the prestige ladder of medical schools. Clinician educators are essential to the success and function of modern medical schools. Let us not undervalue them. Let us exert our influence and critical appraisal of their role to impact the performance indicators.
The faculty and students are the greatest assets of the college, and they perform their best in the service of the university and the country. A college Foundation Day celebration is a milestone in the long journey towards honor and excellence. Moments like this puts us in perspective, to pause and reflect, to enjoy our achievements, and to inspire us to create our paths ahead. Indeed, it gives us courage to pursue our advocacy to serve the Filipino people. The pandemic has drastically affected our way of life, including our economy and medical education. There are seemingly unsurmountable challenges, but these challenges also offer opportunities to succeed. And in our college, people are adept at working in resource-deficient conditions. Let us solve our problems together. That is what we do best. And eventually, pursue clinical teaching that is safe to everybody, in order to continue our task of producing the best medical graduates in the country.
I'm confident that our college will continue to meet these unique challenges with adaptations and innovations in the academy, continuous research for solutions for this pandemic, selfless service, and sharing of expertise and knowledge, with a spirit of unity and purpose. Let us continue to support our colleagues with gratitude and pride. May God bless us all.
In trying times like this, we should stand all together as one to work for the common good, not only in health, but in every aspect of our life here and wherever life brings us. We are privileged, not entitled, to be part of this great institution. We have been blessed with many God-given talents to be used not only for ourselves, our families and friends, but to be shared generously with others in need, especially among the least among us. Mabuhay ang UP College of Medicine. God bless you all.
Truly, the tradition of heroism in the UP College of Medicine continues to shine inspiringly bright. On the occasion of its 115th anniversary, I wish that the college will continue to be loved by its constituents, cherished by its graduates, honored by the Filipino, and respected by the rest of the world.
For listening to that and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'd like to again thank the UPCM class of 1995 for hosting my professorial chair lecture. And I've been very fortunate to be able to lead this college in the most trying times. Maraming salamat po.